Hi, I'm Brian Bell, and welcome to BellTube. Some of you I know.
Some of you I'm meeting for the first time.
If we've met before in real life, perhaps it was at the bar, or maybe we're friends or family, it's nice to see it in this manner. For my BookTube friends and the people that I've met over the last few years, learning more about the fantasy and science fiction genre of BookTube on YouTube, it's cool to see on this side of the camera for a change. In 2020 or so, I really got back into reading. I'd been a lifelong reader since I was about 7 years old, and it was primarily in fantasy and science fiction and those kinds of genres. And when I was forced, like most of us, to just sit home for months on end, not really knowing what we were going to do, I used that opportunity to really restore my habit of reading. And I went to my storage locker and found all my hidden books that were, shelved away somewhere, and brought them all out. Found some books that I hadn't even read yet and really dove into them. And I started to think, I wonder if there's anything on YouTube that's about books now that I'm kind of reading again. And so I'm typing into the YouTube search bar, fantasy book, reviews or whatever. And this guy named Mike comes up, and his channel was called Mike's Book Reviews. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, he looks like he's around about my age and seems interested in fantasy and science fiction, so maybe I'll give this a watch. And that was about 3 years ago. I really, really enjoyed the kind of content that he was creating, such that YouTube and the algorithm really started suggesting other people that were making similar types of fantasy and science fiction genre content on BookTube or YouTube. And I became sort of online friends with many of the people that are out there. Some of the times they're hosting, live chats. Sometimes they have authors on their channels, and I'd always kind of be lurking in the comments and throwing my 2 cents in, wherever I felt appropriate. But I started to think, what if I could kind of create my own BookTube channel, but do it in a way that sort of combines what I already know? And that's having a place where people can come to and feel welcome and kind of create a vibe where if you're having just an okay day or maybe not so great a day, you could turn this channel on and have somebody talking with you that cares about how your day went and wants you to have a good afternoon or a good evening or a good morning or whatever part of the country that you're in. So I've really tried to set out to make BellTube a place that is, first of all, welcoming to everybody. Yes, we're going to talk a lot about fantasy and science fiction books because that's what I'm interested in here to do on the channel. But I'm sure we're going to get into other kinds of media like gaming and TV and movies, things of that nature, and probably some business talk as well, because I've been a lifelong entrepreneur and I have lots of thoughts on the business world and particularly how the publishing industry is sort of evolving. And I have a feeling we'll talk a little bit about that here too. One of the things that I'm really hoping for here is that when you come here, you find value for clicking, on my channel. I want you to feel either glad that you stopped by and that you do feel better for coming here, or even maybe have some thought-provoking topics that you can walk out of here going, hey, you know what, I hadn't thought about it that way. Or I totally disagree with Brian and I'm going to let him know in the comments exactly how I disagree. And I'm going to do it in a friendly way. I hope you do it in a friendly way. And what I'm hoping to create here is a virtual community, much like a club, but we're talking about books, not booze, and we're coming from all over the world, not just here in the metro Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota, but really from all parts of the globe to come together for a common purpose to talk about something that we all love, and that is fantasy and science fiction books. And if you happen to be an in real life friend of mine and you're not into fantasy or science fiction books, stick with me. I will get you to read some books that you probably would have never otherwise read, and I know you're going to be glad for it. So if you would, consider hitting the subscribe button. I will see you in the videos that are upcoming, and welcome to BellTube.